It's been a year since this happened. A sitting member of Congress showed up to a federal detention facility in New Jersey to do her job, and things turned chaotic.
I got it. We're taking them right now.
Members of Congress have the statutory right to conduct unannounced oversight visits at ICE detention centers across the country. It's written into the law, and Representative LaMonica McIver had done it before. But this time was different. ICE flooded the facility with agents, they blocked entry, chaos broke out. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey was arrested on the scene, and McIver, a first-time Congresswoman from New Jersey, left that day about to face 2 federal felony charges and a misdemeanor. And as a result, she could face up to 17 years in prison. She is, of course, fighting these charges, running to keep her seat in Congress, and making the argument that this isn't really about her. For Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, it's about whether or not Congress can do its job in the Trump era. Just ahead of the 1-year anniversary of the events of that day, I sat down with Representative McIver to talk about exactly that. What happened? What went wrong? Why the Trump administration isn't letting up? And what she saw when she was finally let into that ICE facility. This conversation felt important and timely, and so without further ado, my chat with Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you. It's great to be on with you.
I want to jump right into it. If we could just start maybe with an introduction. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and how you got here.
My name is LaMonica McIver. I am originally born and raised in the city of Newark, New Jersey, largest city in New Jersey. I still live there. And I come from a place of public service. I served on the city council for 7.5 years before coming here to Congress. Youngest woman ever elected to the Newark City Council, and youngest woman and only second Black woman to be the council president. And now I'm here serving in this very crazy administration and very difficult time, here in Congress.
I want to get into the difficult times, but, I think it's probably appropriate to start nearly 1 year ago as we're having this conversation. Kind of the events of Delaney Hall, as we understand it, the detention center there in Newark, took place on May 9th. When you think back on that day, what comes to mind?
Chaos, terror, disbelief, to be honest with you. Truly shocking what happened that day, but also too sadness, of what occurred. That's what I think about when I think about that day. I definitely didn't expect the day to go like that. I surely didn't show up there for that to happen or any of those events to unfold. But
Congresswoman Monica McIver is denying any wrongdoing after federal agents say that she interfered during the arrest of Newark's mayor outside an ICE detention facility.
What were you there to do?
Was there to do my job. I mean, members of Congress, we have the ability, the statutory ability to go to any detention center unannounced, to show up to conduct an oversight visit is what we call it. That's what we're supposed to do. And that's what I showed up there to do with 2 of my colleagues, was simply to show up and inspect this detention center.
The question that I have been kind of wrestling with as I've been reading up on your story and everything that happened is really what went wrong? If you could take me inside that morning, as you mentioned, you're there with 2 of your colleagues in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman, Rob Menendez, as well as Mayor Ras Baraka. What was your expectation when you arrived, and where did things go wrong?
Well, my expectation was that we would go in, right? We've done this before. Me, Rob, and Bonnie, we have gone to a detention center in New Jersey before and conducted an oversight visit. So I thought this would be something that we would show up. Yeah, they would give us a little pushback because usually they're like, oh, you can't come in. And then we show them the documents and say, no, we can come in. Here is, the language that says that we can. And we just thought we might get delayed, but we would eventually get in and be able to conduct an oversight visit. I mean, I didn't expect anything to go other than that. I think what went wrong was when the Department of Justice decided, and the ICE decided, that they would not let us in, that they would send an army of ICE agents there for us just for the purposes of us not getting in, to not give us the tour and try to delay that at any given chance that they could. And that is what went wrong about the entire thing. That's where it started, and that's kind of where it ended.
In a since deleted post on the DHS website, they said that you all, quote, stormed the gate and broke into the facility, end quote. And I'll admit that the footage is a little bit chaotic, but what do you see when you look back at the footage from that day?
I mean, a lot of chaos, right? A lot of chaos that the Department of Homeland Security and ICE created. Before then, it was a very peaceful day, right? We didn't storm anything. We didn't kick down any doors. We didn't, push anybody over to get into this facility. Like, we were let into this place and then kept in a holding place.
Who do you hold responsible or believe is responsible for the chaos?
Well, I hold ICE and the Department of Homeland Security responsible. They are ultimately the ones that sent an army of ICE agents there for us to tell us that we could not have an oversight visit and tried to delay us in our rights of doing our jobs as members of Congress. And so they created that situation. They created a hostile, unsafe situation, not only just for us, but also too for the peaceful protesters that were outside protesting there. Like, they were not being disruptive. They were not doing anything wrong. They had actually been there for days prior to us coming there protesting each and every day this detention center. And quite frankly, Garrison, they're probably there right now today.
Can I push you on that? Because I know that you're saying ICE and DHS, but are there specific leaders who you think are responsible for creating chaos on that day?
Oh, of course. I mean, for me, one, I would say that it's Todd Blanche, who's now our acting attorney general. Per the language that we got from one of the agents that was there, he was only arresting the mayor of the largest city in New Jersey because he was instructed to, per Todd Blanche. This is his words, not mine, on video.
Okay, we are arresting the mayor right now, per the Deputy Attorney General of the United States.
Upper officials here in D.C. saying that we could not, when they know we just went to another facility just a couple of weeks ago and did the same inspection and did not have the same situation. So the Kristi Noems of the world, I think that they're responsible. The Pam Bondis of the world, they created this entire environment, which, Garrison, has started with us last May. But what have we seen since then? We've seen more escalation, more, attempts, and this whole idea of stopping people from Congress members doing their job, but also from folks from just protesting, right? We've seen that happen in front of our own eyes. I don't need to preach to people about that. They've seen it. 2 American citizens killed who were doing nothing wrong. Those are the folks, to me, who have been responsible for this whole chaotic administration's idea of immigration and their cruel, hateful agenda around immigration.
I want to come back to the details of your case, but this feels like an important point to hold on, which is your oversight, kind of your statutory oversight ability. Why is that important? I mean, the average American, is maybe going about their lives and doing their thing, and they're not really thinking about these ICE detainment or detention centers. Why is it important for a member of Congress to be able to show up and inspect these places?
Well, one, it's a part of our job, as many other things, right? As a member of Congress, these ICE detention centers are getting federal dollars. They have federal contracts. Some of them are, operating via the federal government. And we are responsible as members of Congress for the government, right? The federal government. And so we have to make sure that literally they are operating properly, that they are operating lawfully and effectively. But at the same time, even further, Garrison, is that the people being held in these facilities, the families that are being impacted, we represent them. Like, I represent them. That was the main reason why I showed up to Delaney Hall in the first place, is because we were getting all of these calls from my constituents about their loved ones being in here, how, they're being unlawfully detained. Some of them who were on approved student visas, some of them who were on approved work permits, literally TPS status, being thrown into this facility. And then on top of that, being treated wrong. There are people who are not getting food, right? They're not getting food on a regular basis. People who have medical conditions, who are literally not getting medicine, not getting medical treatment. I mean, for God's sakes, I had a 42-year-old man, Haitian migrant, who went there less than 24 hours, Garrison. He went in alive. He came out dead.
Before he died on Monday at a hospital in Scottsdale, Arizona. ICE says he was taken there after complaints about shortness of breath. But his family believes that shortness of breath was the result of an infection from a toothache, which he complained about 6 days before being hospitalized.
We know that Ras Baraka's trespassing charge was dropped. Your charges were not, obviously. That's part of the reason why we're talking. And as a relatively kind of new member of Congress, you've kind of been placed in a way, if I could describe it this way, on an island here to almost face and bear the full weight of the Trump administration's kind of wrath against you for this oversight right that you were exercising. You're facing up to 17 years in prison, as I understand it. How do you make sense of that? I mean, that feels really heavy even to say to you. So how do you kind of make sense of all of that?
I mean, honestly, it's been extremely difficult, right? I think some days I'm still looking back like, is this really happening? Like, right? Because it's truly unbelievable. I never thought I would get to Congress and have to be dealing with something like this or being targeted, in this way or fashion. So that's the one thing. It's shocking every day. And I'm bringing myself to terms with it each and every day. Like, wow, this is really happening. This is really America. And it saddens me that this is happening and that this can happen. One, not just to me because I'm a Congresswoman, but everything that's happening to our country right now, everything that we see. I mean, I think about Renee and Alex and them being killed in broad daylight for nothing, or even people who are being abused each and every day by ICE agents, all of the escalation that has happened. And it saddens me that this is happening. Secondly, it definitely feels like I'm on an island alone, for sure. And that's why I continue to talk about this case and explain that it's bigger than just LaMonica McIver. It's not just about me and a little old Black girl from the city of Newark that they're dragging through and making this process as painful as possible. It's about Congress's ability, one, to have oversight and do their job, but more importantly, about Congress's purpose of being the voice of the people that they represent, and how if this administration can get away with putting me in jail for doing my job, then really they're taking away the voices of the people that we represent. And it's truly a problem. It's a democracy issue, one, but more so it's a problem for the people because the people elected us. We have legislative immunity to be able to show up and do our jobs for the people that we represent. And no president should be able to take that away or be able to weaponize the Department of Justice to do that, to us. The third thing I would mention, Garrison, and that's the final thing, is that this is about a young, Black, newly elected Congresswoman. I don't come from a rich family. I just literally bottom up, to getting where I am today, going to insert power, the power that my people who voted for me gave me to make sure that these people are doing their jobs and being critical of that, holding them accountable. And that makes them turn at night. And that is why they're applying so much pressure in this moment to make an example out of me, to try to literally send me to jail.
Yeah, I wanted to go there next. And so you teed it up perfectly, which is the kind of race and gender element here. I mean, Black women are often the kind of canary in the coal mine. Black women obviously voted against this administration quite vociferously. And I've been wondering whether or not you see yourself as a Black woman being targeted in this way, specifically because you are a Black woman. I saw that in court filings, your legal team alleged that one of the ICE agents who is accused of shoving you that day used a racial slur in a Signal group chat with other ICE agents. Do you think that racism and sexism and the intersection of those two things are at play here?
150%. This administration's agenda, I mean, we've seen it not just with me, but with Attorney General Tish James and Elisa Cook, all of these Black women that this president and this administration constantly continues to go after. Just look at the administration as a whole, how many Black women have suffered at the hands of this administration since they took office. So many Black women have lost their jobs. Unemployment rates are up higher for Black women in this moment, but also just the high profile women that he continues to talk about, to say, nasty things about. I mean, to him, every Black woman and Black person, honestly, for that point, is a low IQ person.
Jasmine Crockett, let me tell you, before you even ask, she's a very low IQ person.
We have stood in the gaps of many different movements, many different fights in this country for a very long time. I'm standing on some tall shoulders of those who have, been fighting this fight way before me. But this egregiousness of this administration, how they continue to pick up the hatred and the attacks against Black women. I mean, once again, we're going to continue to see this happening because they literally have a cruel agenda literally targeted to women of color.
I want to turn to your legal defense and talk about some of the details there. But before we go there, you did go back to Delaney Hall, and you've talked about that being a difficult thing for you to do. What did you see when you went inside?
Once again, we had the opportunity to talk to detainees who were there. Many of them who told us about how they don't get fed on the regular. There's no regular schedule. When they do get food, it's cold, it's old, it's molded. We talked to many of them who said that they, have been deprived of medical, attention. They have literally, asked for medicines that they've been on. People who are diabetics, who are taking heart medication, different conditions where they have literally not gotten a response from this, these folks who are in charge at this center. We've spoken to women who told us, they get one menstrual, pad a day. They cannot get products, feminine products. I mean, those are stories that are just heartbreaking in speaking to these individuals. And the one thing I like to point out, Garrison, for people and remind them that these are people with no criminal record, none. Many of them who have literally been here on a approved status. Rather, it was an approved student visa. It was an approved work permit. Many of them picked up, Garrison, at immigration court or at a hearing or a conference, like literally ICE agents waiting there at these places where people are doing the process properly to become a legal citizen of this country. They have literally been targeting those locations for folks. And so those were some of the stories that we heard from detainees. We saw a kitchen where you didn't smell food. I don't know when you go inside of a kitchen and, it's a active lunchtime, you don't smell any food being cooked. The place was very empty. The phones were not working. So people had no access. Detainees had no access to calling their family members or calling their legal representation or any access on a regular basis to their legal representation. We literally got stuck on an elevator when we were in there because it was not operating properly and there was no elevator inspection for this, facility because they were avoiding the city's code of compliances as well. So those were some of the things that we saw when we went inside. And even when I returned, the same situation just tripled in numbers of how many detainees were there at the time.
I want to ask a quick question about the charges against you. What exactly are you being charged for?
So I'm basically being charged with 2 federal felonies and a misdemeanor. One of them is impeding in a arrest, and the others are 2 assault charges that they claim that I assaulted one agent and then another agent. So altogether, 2 felonies, 1 misdemeanor, and altogether those equaling 17 years in prison.
I did see that the judge rejected your kind of immunity claim, saying that those things were not connected with your oversight duties. Do you accept that characterization? And I guess what is your defense against these charges?
Yeah, so I don't accept it. Look, I have a lot of respect for the judge. I have a lot of respect for the judiciary system, but we don't respect those claims. I think in part of the hearing, which was very public, the judge was talking about when we went outside of the facility, we were not conducting oversight, but outside of the facility is our ability to have oversight as well. Everything that is happening in and outside of this place in its parking lot and how ICE agents and DHS agents are acting is my responsibility. 1, as a member of Congress, but 2, because I'm a member of the Department of Homeland Security's committee. Like I can inspect these situations and see what is going on. That is my right to do so as a member of Congress and a member of this committee. So I definitely reject those claims. And that is why we decided to file to the Third Circuit Court to have them hear our case as well. And look, at the end of the day, legislative immunity, once again, not about LaMonica McIver, but about members of Congress and their ability to do their jobs. And an executive branch or any other forms of government, levels of government, should not be able to stop us from doing our jobs, which ultimately is stopping the people that we represent from having a voice here and an ability here in Congress. And so, that is the claim that I'm sticking with. That is the truth of it all. And that's what we're going to go to Third Circuit and talk about as well.
Have you been supported in all of this? I know that there are limitations to the kind of support you can get legally, but I'm thinking about your colleagues, your Democratic colleagues. Do you feel like they've been supportive of you throughout this process?
So we have gotten, a good amount of support. I think, one, we can always use more, right? As you mentioned, Garrison, we're not able to get a free lawyer, right? I can't get pro bono help. I can't even get a discounted rate for a lawyer because ethics is, very clear on us being able to get that kind of assistance. So, we need people to dig deep in the support and the resources that we need to fight this case. And so I think people can definitely be doing more. I think that we can be getting a lot of support more nationally, especially from a lot of organizations who talk about democracy and the Constitution and see this case, happening. I mean, how can you not flinch and say, oh, this is a problem? More support would go a long way. But I am extremely grateful for the people who jumped in right away, day one, like I got your back. Because once again, as you mentioned, it does feel like a very lonely island that I'm on by myself.
I know we're nearing the end here, so I want to ask two more questions, if you don't mind. The first is if you could set the stakes for us. What do you think it means for this country if they're able to get away with criminalizing LaMonica McIver in her official congressional duties?
Well, one, I think that it would just give this administration more power. It sets precedent of how a president in the executive branch, if they don't like you, if they don't like your policies, if they don't like your criticism, that they can go after you, and basically weaponize the DOJ to do so. And while it's about me today, Garrison, it'll be about any other member of Congress, rather on this side of the aisle with me or the other side of the aisle. And I think that's a critical point for people to think about, like no president or no administration should be able to do such. And then also to taking away voters and our constituents' ability for their members to represent them. And look, I need people in this fight with me, right? I need them to understand that, once again, not just about LaMonica McIver, it's about them. It's about you, wherever you're at right now, watching our ability to be able to, have representation for members of Congress to hold this administration accountable. We have seen on so many instances of how this president has overreached his job function to try to literally do whatever he wants to do, from states, to cities, all of these cruel things that he's trying to push upon us. And what we have seen in some cases, I know in New Jersey, we've been fighting back. We have sued this administration. We have tried to stop them every chance that they got to try to hurt the people of New Jersey. We've been doing that, and we've been teaming up with other states who've done that, and we've won. We've won and stopped some of these cruel things that he is doing. And so at the end of the day, that is why it's so important that we make sure we protect people in their, roles and rights of the jobs that they're doing, like me as a member of Congress, but anyone for that matter, because really it's going to be a problem if we don't.
The final question that I have for you, Congresswoman, is really about how you kind of keep going. You've mentioned this being a bit of a lonely island. This has not been easy for you. And so what keeps you going in all of this?
Oh, well, that's a deep question, Garrison. I mean, it's, look, it is hard. It comes with a personal sacrifice. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I have a husband. I have a family that is extremely worried. But at the same time, I took an oath for this job, right? And I have close to 800,000 people that I'm responsible for who elected me to, number one, protect them. I take it very personal, probably because I'm the oldest of 4, siblings. I've been in the protection mode for a very long time. I'm a mom, hey, I'm a Black woman. We know how to protect, the people that matter the most to us. And my constituents matter the most to me. Even dealing with this personal sacrifice, it's my job to fight for them, to protect them, and be their voice and stand up for them. And so at the end of the day, this this is horrible. It's the pain, the process is the pain of it all. And I've been through it from, so many intimidation tactics from Republicans trying to censure me, kick me off of committees, from the White House listing me as a member of Antifa and saying mean things about me every day. And honestly, even pushing hatred and threats upon me and my family. But at the same time, it's the political courage and the political sacrifice that you have to make when you're in service, to do so. And while I'm here, doing this job, that's what I intend to do, to continue to show up for the people of my district, represent them, be their voice, and protect them and fight for them.
How can people keep up with the work and the fight that you're in?
Join us, at LaMonicaForCongress.com. You can find any information, keep up with the case, keep up with all of the things that we're doing, in the community, and how you can join this fight with us and make sure that, we are not here forever, that better days are ahead.
Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Garrison.